The lights dimmed inside the massive hall in Shanghai. 1,000 fans waited, holding their breath as the big screen behind the stage flickered to life. Song Kang sat quietly in the center, a soft spotlight tracing the outline of his face. He looked up, curious, almost unaware of what was coming next. Then the image appeared. Kim Yoo Jung, in that familiar car scene from My Demon, turned her head toward him on screen. For a split second, the line between fiction and reality disappeared. The crowd gasped, and then the air erupted. Shouts of "Yoo Jung" echoed from every corner of the room, their voices rising like fireworks. Cameras flashed, banners waved, and Song Kang's lips curved into the kind of smile that can't be scripted. He didn't speak, he didn't need to. That smile said everything. It was soft, unguarded, almost nostalgic, as if the moment had taken him back to a memory that still lived somewhere inside him. The camera caught his face perfectly, the warmth in his eyes, the surprise that melted into amusement. No one realized it at the time, but that single moment would light up fan communities across Asia for weeks. Some said it was just a sweet throwback. Others whispered that this was where the rumor truly began, the quiet spark that might bring My Demon back to life. The Shanghai fan meeting was already buzzing before the show even began. Fans had traveled from Korea, Japan, and across China just to see him. Some held banners with both his and Kim Yoo Jung's names, a reminder of how deeply My Demon had marked their hearts. The moment that car scene appeared on the big screen, everything changed. People who were there said the energy in the room shifted instantly. It wasn't just excitement, it was emotion. For many, it felt like time had folded in on itself, pulling the audience back into the world of the drama they loved so much. The soft lighting, the music, even the way Song Kang looked up at the screen, it all felt like fate teasing them. That scene, simple as it was, meant more than nostalgia. It was the scene where everything began for their characters. It symbolized a connection that transcended the story itself, a link between two people who brought warmth and magic to every frame. Seeing it again on a giant screen, with Song Kang watching quietly below, was like witnessing the story come back to life. For fans who had spent months asking for a sequel, this felt like a hidden message. My Demon had ended with an open door, and the chemistry between its leads had left an ache that never quite faded. So when that familiar moment filled the hall, many said it didn't feel like the past. It felt like a new beginning. And then came the spark that turned a sentimental throwback into something else entirely. A fan raised her hand, smiled, and said what everyone had been thinking. From that point on, reality and fiction were no longer separate. It started with one simple question from the host. Which of Song Kang's projects is your favorite? A fan stood up, her voice trembling a little but full of excitement. My Demon, she said, then added without hesitation, because I love you and Kim Yoo Jung. The crowd exploded with laughter, clapping, and shouts. For a moment, the whole hall felt alive, wrapped in warmth and joy. Song Kang's reaction was the kind that doesn't need any translation. He laughed, lowering his gaze for a second, as if to hide a smile that came from somewhere deep. His shoulders shook slightly, his dimples showing, and then he looked up again, eyes shining, almost caught between amusement and nostalgia. It was a genuine, unguarded smile, the kind that says more than any interview could. People in the audience caught it instantly. Some whispered, "That's Yoo Jung's smile." Others teased, "He's thinking about her right now." Online later that night, short clips of that moment spread like wildfire. Comments flooded in saying, "You can see it in his eyes. That wasn't just acting chemistry. That's something real." The narrator voice in our heads might say it was nothing, just a man reacting to a playful fan. But the truth is, sometimes a look lasts longer than words. Sometimes you catch a glimpse of a memory that never really left. And as the chair settled and the moment faded, some fans began wondering if that smile meant something more. A few even joked that maybe it was a sign that the universe wasn't done with these two just yet. The room was still buzzing when the host moved on to another question. "What does making a pact with the demon mean to you?" he asked with a grin, clearly referencing my demon. Song Kang paused. For a few seconds, he didn't answer. He looked thoughtful, his hand resting near his mic, eyes searching for the right words. Then, with a quiet smile, he said, "To me, it feels like a gift." The hall went silent, as if everyone needed a second to process what they just heard. Then, right when the atmosphere grew tender, he added with a playful glint in his eyes, "Oh, did Kim Yoo Jung say the same thing?" The crowd erupted. Laughter, cheers, and shouts filled the room again. It was lighthearted, but it hit differently. Fans knew how rare it was for Song Kang to mention a co-star at a solo event, especially by name, and in that warm, teasing tone. It wasn't just a joke, it sounded like a thread, something small but real, connecting him back to her. Within hours, clips of that moment flooded social media. One fan posted it with the caption, "He hinted it. My demon too?" Others began matching his words to Yoo Jung's old interviews, where she had once called My Demon a story that felt like a gift to both of us. The coincidence was too perfect to ignore. Theories started spreading. Some fans claimed that industry insiders had already whispered about a possible reunion project. Others said that this smile, this moment, wasn't random. It was deliberate. A small signal, maybe even a promise. And as the noise online grew, one sentence from an old drama review began trending again. My demon was a miracle between an angel and a devil. Maybe that miracle wasn't over yet. Maybe that night in Shanghai was the first sign that the story still had another chapter waiting to be told. When the lights finally dimmed and the crowd began to leave, the excitement didn't die down. It followed everyone out into the Shanghai night. Within hours, clips from the fan meeting were everywhere. Hashtags like Song Kang Yoo Jung, My Demon Too, and Gift Moment trended across Korea, China, and even Southeast Asia. Fans replayed that same line again and again, convinced it meant more than what was said. One post that went viral read, "That wasn't just a smile, it was a message." Another said, "He looked like someone who already knows something." It was all speculation, of course, but that's what made it thrilling. Every frame, every glance became part of a bigger puzzle fans were eager to solve. As Song Kang left the stage that night, cameras caught him glancing back at the big screen one more time. The image of him and Kim Yoo Jung in the car was frozen there. Two characters looking in different directions, but somehow connected by something unseen. It felt poetic, almost like the universe reminding everyone that their story wasn't finished. In the days that followed, small whispers began circulating in fan communities and entertainment blogs. Some claimed there was early talk about a My Demon continuation project. No confirmations, no details, just quiet speculation. But for fans, that was enough to believe. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe it was something softer, a promise that hadn't faded yet. As one fan wrote, "If the world resets again, I hope he finds her, both in the story and in real life." Perhaps that was the real magic of My Demon. It blurred the line between acting and emotion, between script and destiny. So what do you think? Was it all just fan imagination, or the first sign of My Demon Season 2 finally taking shape? Comment number 1 if you think it was all coincidence, and number 2 if you believe fate might really bring them back together, on screen and maybe beyond.